In the history of the Women Stories podcast, this is the first time I am interviewing two strong female entrepreneurs together. Today, we have founders of ShareALittle, a donation platform for non-profit organizations. Divya and Trishla are chartered accountants come entrepreneurs. And so that you don't get confused, here is what Trishla sounds like.
Yeah, so we met when we were 10, we were in school. Of course, we were not talking about a startup or a business then. We were just friends in school.
And this is Divya speaking.
Thank you so much for having us, Khushi. It's a pleasure to be here.
In this episode, we will be unraveling everything around setting up a successful donation platform and making it a trustable place. Let us hear stories of these two unconventional women who decided to take a plunge into entrepreneurship beside being CAs. Hi Divya and Trishla, very warm welcome onto the season 2 of the Women's Stories, a podcast where we inspire young girls to explore entrepreneurship. First of all, how have you been doing lately? Both of you, how have you been doing lately?
Thank you so much for having us, Khushi. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a little bit of a roller coaster ride in the pandemic, but health-wise, I'm doing well so far. So that's a blessing.
So my first question is for both of you. Like you both are chartered accountants, and as I know, it takes a lot of years of hard work and study to become one. So like what motivated you both to start a fundraising platform beside being chartered accountants?
So that's a very, very interesting question and my favorite question. So both Trishla and I have known each other for years, but we'll come to that later. We were both very entrepreneurial at heart ever since, I've known her. And we always thought of doing something of our own at some point in our lives. And the pandemic sort of gave us the courage to venture out. What happened was in June 2020, we were all working from home. And there was so much uncertainty as to, when the pandemic is going to go away and all of that. And I was just, looking for some positivity on the internet. And I read this article by an employee of Indus Action. It's an education think tank in Delhi. And he had written with so much optimism about the work that Indus Action is doing in the education space and making so much of a difference. I was so inspired. I messaged him right away on LinkedIn, and I told him I would love to contribute in whatever way I can, because all I'm doing is working, and I would like to spare some time for this cause. They put me on a project. The Delhi government was doing a survey along with Indus Action, and they wanted me to find out from the children or the families of children who've been admitted under the right to education. That's a 25% quota in Delhi, in the Delhi private schools. So they wanted to do a survey if these children who are admitted under this quota, they come from underprivileged backgrounds, are they able to study from home? Are they equipped to study from home? Are they receiving their books? It was like a survey. And when I heard these heartbreaking stories of mothers, they're begging me for phones, and it was just very difficult to ignore all of those cry for help kind of stories. And I told my dad that, there's got to be something that I can do apart from just recording these grievances. And similarly, Trishla at the same time would keep telling me, I've been hearing similar stories. My mates, children don't have phones, my driver's children, it was very, very similar. And we thought that, we are so privileged because we know so many people who can extend help, and we know so many people who need help. So Trishla suggested that, I have this idea and we want to, we can sort of be the channel between these two groups of people, because we were not equipped or, trained to run a charity, but we thought it's so easy to just channel the funds. So we read about crowdfunding, how we do it. We got a website developer on board. We got a payment gateway, integrated. We found out about what are the things that a donor wants, in terms of transparency, disclosures, the legal aspects of it. We got a company registered because being chartered accountants, we want to do it the right way. We partnered with 2 NGOs through very credible sources. Through LinkedIn, we put a post, that we want to help people, and alumnus from our school, they came forward. They're running their own charities, and we thought we could, they're credible sources. And, it's sort of just, we happened to know about a digital marketing webinar that was happening where artists were giving their time to make logos of charities. And we were like, how did we get so lucky? And they made a logo for us. And within 2 months, we were ready from ideation to launch. We launched in November 2020. And that's how ShareALittle happened. We did so many calls over the name of our platform. What are we going to be called? The bank opening process, took forever. There were so many challenges because of the pandemic. The whole process, all the processes were running really late, but it was magical. I don't know how we pulled it together in 2 months, but that's the ShareALittle story.
Yeah, actually, my next question was with regards to that only. What were some of the key challenges that you both faced while setting up ShareALittle?
Trishla, you want to take that?
So I think I would answer in 2 parts. One, coming to the technical aspect of it. While setting up the company, when you're working, when you're doing the job, you don't realize the kind of challenges, how even one small thing can take up so much time. So when we were trying to register our company, for example, just getting our name registered was such a time-consuming process. We got rejected thrice, I think, and eventually somehow we managed that. So luckily, Divya's father, who's also a chartered accountant, is on our advisory board. So I would say it really helped us to have then another person we know who's a lawyer. They've all been really kind to give us their services on a pro bono basis. So for the accounts part, we were able to navigate it through him. For the legal part, we were able to do it. But it's again like a friend who's helping us with the legal aspect of ShareALittle. So from the technical point of view, I would say these were the challenges: setting up the company, getting the legal part of it right, putting the contract in place. There are 10,000 laws governing non-profits about where you can receive funds from, where you can't receive funds from. So even after we started, we would keep questioning ourselves that, are we doing something wrong? Because it's, how the law is in this country, and it's exhaustive and it's impossible to kind of try and go through each and everything. So those were the technical challenges, I guess. Other than that, the process did get smoother as we kind of dived deeper into it. If someone told me to make a website now, I think I would find it much easier than we did the first time around. We gave it was a nightmare for our website designer because we were very, very demanding with how our website should look. But I think, the registration, the legal compliances, the paperwork was definitely a bit of a challenge, but luckily we had some good mentors who were able to help us through it. Then I would say the second challenge was just right after we started getting the word out. Right now, we still have to get the word out to more and more people, reach out to more people. But that was right now, at least we have some sort of, we have some people, some donors who are coming back to us. We have some repeat donors. People know about us. But initially, just getting the word out was a challenge in itself. There's plenty of social media marketing and SEO, which seems like it's really easy when you read about it, but there's so much money being spent by so many people on keywords, on search engine optimization. So being a startup, that to a non-profit startup, we didn't have that. We didn't have the kind of funds to just go all out with our advertising. So there's been a lot of word of mouth advertising, harrowing some of our friends to, sending them lots of forwards. Now at this point, when we do a fundraiser, the last fundraiser I did, I didn't have to kind of harrow all of my family and friends and shoot out WhatsApp messages to them, because now we do have certain organic donors who come back. So I think one challenge, that is definitely one challenge I feel like we faced, initially just getting that kickstart. And then it can also be really demotivating when, one day you're like, this is it, this is what I wanted to do. And the other day you're just like, but how am I going to tell people about it? So that was another challenge. And I guess that's like an ongoing challenge, because once 10 people know about you, you want 100 people to know about you, want 200 people to know about you. So that's something I guess we're going to have to deal with on a daily basis. And yeah, so anything else, any challenge that I'm missing out
Yeah,
on?
I have she's covered all the business challenges. I think I would like to add personal challenges that I faced. When you're an employee, you're handed instructions okay, I was doing equity research before this. They told me that we're writing on this company, we're writing this note. Divya, this is your job. At ShareALittle, there was no one telling me what to do. I was just pushed onto the driver's seat, drive, go wherever you want to. And, one day you're just like, okay, I've got the direction. This is what I'm going to do. The next day, you're just like, okay, this is not working. But who's going to be the one who decides all of that? It's you. Until yesterday, I was an employee and now I'm an entrepreneur. So that, just that mindset shift is so major. And I found that initially I was just like, okay, let's do this, but who's going to do it? Like, I have to execute everything.
Yeah.
So ideation to execution to, changing it and going back to ideation and executing. I think that was like a big, big challenge, because we were very, very limited on bandwidth. That's always going to happen. So how do you prioritize? And another thing was the opportunity cost was our time. We don't have any money to spend. Like Trishla said, everything we've done is organic. We've not paid Facebook for ads. We've not paid Instagram for ads because we're a non-profit. So, just where do you decide to put your time? Because you just have 24 hours in a day. So it's like decision-making skills. Suddenly you were bestowed with so much responsibility and you have to see it through. If it works, great, it's on you. If it doesn't work, it's still on you. So that has been a very fun as well as a challenging process, just figuring all of this out. But I think both of us, I can speak for both of us, that we've not been happier professionally. So challenge yet exciting time. Yeah.
Yeah, I can completely feel that. And I see a great tonality and a great connection between both of you. So, how did you guys meet? And what was the click that you realized that this is I want her to be the co-founder, or she want you to be the co-founder? So what was that click, and when did you guys meet?
Trishla, I'll let you take
So
that.
we've actually known each other since we were 10. So technically we met.
We've known each other for 8 years.
Yeah, we've known each other for 18 years now. So of course this partnership is very, very new, and it doesn't, it's not okay, I'm going to come to that later, but yeah, so we met when we were 10. We were in school. Of course, we were not talking about a startup or a business then. We were just friends in school.
We went to the boarding school, by the way. So the amount of time we spent together with each other is massive. Yeah, so we were at boarding school for 8 years. Go on.
So we've technically grown up together, because in those 8 years we spent more time with each other than we did with our own families. So it's more like, I would say we're more like family now and not just ordinary friends. After school, Divya went to Delhi to study for college, and I was in Bombay. And then both of us also were doing CA. So I guess we were in touch then. When we were doing CA, we would kind of study together and things like that, like any other friend. Then Divya moved to Bombay. I was in Bombay. Divya moved to Bombay 2 years before we started the ShareALittle.
Yeah.
2 years, yeah. So in Bombay, Divya and I were actually staying together. So now we've gone from friends to studying together to being also roommates and flatmates. So we were staying together in Bombay, and while we were working every day, when we'd come back from work, it was like Divya was that's where I would went, and I was where Divya would went. We would discuss our jobs and the things that we don't like, the things we like. So we were constantly discussing what we want to do. Divya was also very ambitious. I also wanted to do something for myself. So I would keep telling her how I want to start a business. And then I had all these ideas, which I'd had for a few years. But sometimes I feel like, I never had the conviction to start them on my own. Then I happened to quit my job. I moved to Kanpur. Divya quit a year after that. And then there's this ShareALittle was just one floating idea that I had mentioned to her in one of our sessions, where she complained to me about things that she's unhappy with at work and vice versa. So she was like, you had this idea. Why don't we actually work on this and start this? And that's tech. So technically we didn't meet just for this, but this is how we met as co-founders. And I think with both of us, it's a good mix of personalities, because she's the talker. She is really enthusiastic. She is a motivator. She loves to she brings in all the energy in this partnership. So
and Trishla is our ideator. She has the most creative ideas, and I'm just like, wow, how did you think of it? She knows the weirdest people that we can partner with. She's just like, oh, this person is doing this. And I'm just like, how do you know that this person is doing this? So she's our, at the back, although she's an introvert, but she's our idea engine, basically. And obviously, we basically, she's the one who puts the ideas in my head, and I'm the one who's like, oh, let's go do this.
Yeah,
so that's sort of where we
tell her, it's like, I've had this idea for long, but I was too afraid to kind of take the leap. And there's this person that you tell her an idea and she will do it. Like, she's not going to wait. She does it. Like, she makes you believe that this can be done. Like, today, if I tell her I want to build a multi-billion-dollar company, I will probably go to her, because someone else might say that, hey, what are you talking about? And she's going to be like, let's start tomorrow. So
that's sort of something that happened at ShareALittle. Like in August, we were discussing, let's do this. And we were like, okay, December, January seems like a good timeline to launch. And we got our NGO partnership in August, because I don't know how it happened. And I was just like, okay, now they know that we are interested in helping them. And the schools are shut. And, these are hearing impaired children. If they don't get tablets to study, and there is a lag or there's a break in their learning, they might never be able to pick it up. It was such a compelling cause that we started thinking about everything in August, and by November we had launched. It would have been sooner if the processes were faster, but that's just how it is. Like, we just went ahead and did it.
Yeah, I mean, that's an amazing partnership. One brings the idea and one implements it. What you need more? I mean, yeah, it's a balanced partnership की एक back end काम कर रहा है, एक front end काम कर रहा है, and the balance.
नहीं, front end दोनों करते हैं इसलिए. But
yeah,
you really need more hands on deck. Like, I'm telling you, when you have a startup, you're just like, what else can we do? You're just, if you don't have energy and the drive, I don't think, or persistence, you've lost it. That's
So,
where it ends.
with your experience, what advice would you give to young entrepreneurs who are finding their co-founders?
I think it's very important to align in terms of mission and personalities. And I mean, there are always going to be differences. For example, even for the logo, like, we did so much back and forth. Little did we know what blue represents, what yellow represents. I was more of the opinion that we should have a heart, in our logo. And Trishla was like, no, people might think that, we're a hospital, or, something like that. So there was just so much back and forth. But we happen to have such, so many common friends and mentors who helped us through all of this. I think it really helps to know your co-founder from before and someone that your wavelength matches with. I think that's super duper important.
Would you like to add
Yeah,
something,
I would
Trishla?
agree. I would agree. It's like finding a partner. It's like if you know you're strong-headed and you know that you can't deal with another strong-headed person, like, I mean, the technical aspects, of course, are there. That what is the other person bringing to the table? What are you bringing? And are these two things going to create synergy? But other than that, the human side of it, that are you going to get along? Is the other person going to be flexible enough to, like how the best specify the logo example, that you kind of like, we're open to discussing things. Nobody's hell-bent on what they want. And because where there's conflict, I feel like that space always becomes difficult to work in, because eventually you have to be mentally happy and in a place to be able to work with someone. So yeah, the human wavelength is certainly very important.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, that was a genuine answer. There are like a lot of answers that you get. I mean, in terms of like if you are finding a co-founder, I've also heard that the background, the skills. If I am creative, the other person should be technical. So like that's balance. So of course, I mean, I see that partnership here as well. So that was a genuine
I
answer.
think I would add that you figure it out like as you go, and it's always a continuous journey. So it's less about the skills. I think the human factor is like, I think, the most important, because you can always find a creative person if you're a technical person and vice versa. But if you can't discuss things, and if your ideas are not welcome, that sort of takes away the fun of entrepreneurship and co-founder relationships.
Okay, our meeting might end. You must have also got notification, so we'll just rejoin quickly on this link. Okay,
That's
I'll continue. So, what was the reaction when you revealed to your family that you also want to become entrepreneurs beside being chartered accountants?
That's easy
I
for
think
me.
for my family, it was like they knew it was coming. It was only a matter of when.
Yeah.
So
There was no issues at all. They were like, yeah, you should
I
definitely do something of your own.
Okay, so
That
I
was the
mean,
least, yeah, that was the
you
least of
guys
our worries.
told them, and the next day you were working on ShareALittle. So, was this the condition?
I don't think there's a line here. Like, we sort of discussed it. I discussed with my family that, Trishla kind of has this idea that I want to, see through. And they were also like, that's a great idea. You should follow up and kind of see where this goes. And, it was really like, there was no one day. It was just like, yeah, work on it, figure it out. I think our families have been extremely supportive. So that was not an issue.
Awesome. So I'm sure that you must have done some research before launching ShareALittle. So what is the current market landscape of fundraising platforms?
Okay, again, I'll take that. So we started ShareALittle because we could not trust other platforms, because we do not know where the money is going. And so it was like, they've done the due diligence. Sure, this NGO has told us, where this money is going to go, but there was that hesitance was there. So we thought that, how much can you keep giving to other platforms? And we wanted to bridge the gap here as to how, we want to increase disclosures, first of all, which we thought the market lacked. Now, coming to the industry in India, the Indian crowdfunding industry represents only 7% of the global crowdfunding industry. And what are the reasons for that? Because we're a developing country. And most of the help that is extended in our country is through direct, we will feed people on our own. We will not channel the money through a platform. There's that lack of trust is there. So there's a whole lot of mindset that needs to change on a personal front. B, digital payments, smartphones, internet penetration, all of this is increasing in our country. So in the next 5 years, I see the industry multiplying 5 times. And I see a lot of potential in India because of all of this. Especially the pandemic has compelled people to channel funds through transparent platforms. So the good thing is that there are a limited number of players in the market, and it's a growing industry. Plus, Indians are becoming more aware about who they're giving their funds to. And the most important reason that I see this industry booming in the near future is because people are getting busier by the day. They don't have time to go out and feed a dog. They don't have time to go out and feed a beggar or give someone a blanket on the street. Today, young people want things on their fingertips. They're just like, I have to donate. This is a platform. Here it is. I've done my bit. What do? When you want to order food, you don't go to the kitchen and cook it anymore because nobody has time. That's where we come in. We're just like, okay, hey, we've done our checks. This is an NGO. Here are 10 things you need to know about this NGO. Here are 10 things you need to know about us. And the work is done. This is the one click link you need to go on, 1 minute process. This is done. Here is your ATG certificate. You get a tax deduction. And you get to know where your funds are going right in your inbox. You'll get to know. I think we're kind of solving the donation issue for anyone who wants to give.
Okay, so also as you said that there is a major gap in the market. So how do you guys plan to leverage this gap in the next 5 years? I mean, this is, of course, you guys are doing great already. But what kind of tweaks and turns we can expect from your strategy in the next 5 years? How do you guys basically plan to scale in next 5 years?
We definitely have a lot in the pipeline. Sometimes the ideas are more than I guess we can even implement. But if you had to ask me about the next 5 years, we have, so for example, there's in terms of scale, of course, that's something that's ongoing. We're constantly working. Even as we speak to you right now, we're hoping that this will help us, even if it's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 listeners convert and become ShareALittle backers. So definitely we want to achieve scale, but it's not something that we're really we understand that it's a marathon. We're not looking at this as a race. We're not in a rush to get anywhere. We do want to work under pressure, but very organically, we want to introduce several verticals under ShareALittle. One of them, for example, I imagine that in a few months, we should be starting a gifting section in ShareALittle where you can gift an impact. So on birthdays, weddings, etc., you can gift an impact to someone instead of giving them a monetary gift or whatever else they might be giving. That's one thing. In the longer future, I guess we imagine having ShareALittle merchandise. The idea is to slowly build and nurture a community where younger people believe in giving and believe in donating. Mm-hmm. So to build a community, to build a small community, again, we're not chasing massive scale, because if you look at other, without naming, if you look at other crowdfunding websites, they have so many campaigns running that I feel like with huge scale, you sort of lose personal touch. We want every campaign that runs on ShareALittle to be as authentic as possible. We want to know that not a single campaign that's being run on ShareALittle where any money is going is not having really strong impact. So at the moment, maybe instead of having 3 fundraisers, you would ideally like to have, say, 10 fundraisers ongoing at a time, but we want to give equal energy, devotion, dedication to each fundraiser, so that when someone's coming on ShareALittle and donating, they can be rest assured that their money is going to the right person and it's having, great impact. So yeah, I guess in the next 5 years, we hope to make more and more people hear about ShareALittle, have a bigger ShareALittle community where people are coming back every now and then to donate, and make it like a culture to donate, make it like cool. And yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, I love the gifting part, the gifting idea, because yeah, even personally, sometimes I feel reluctant to donate my money because exactly I don't know where my money is going. So if I'll get an option where I could donate, maybe say food or my own clothes directly to the people. I mean, we do it offline as well. Like we go to orphanages and provide stuff and clothes. So if I could do it online, I mean, that would just solve the entire problem.
Yeah, and when I say gift and impact, I also mean that let's say you have to give someone, it's too early to talk about it, but it's an idea in my head. So I would tell you, since you mentioned that you like it, that let's say it's someone's wedding. So instead of maybe in the future, imagine that you would give them a little note on how you sponsored, uh, bought like 10 laptops or 10 digital devices for someone on their behalf. So that becomes their wedding gift. So you're actually gifting impact, and it kind of involving the younger generation in that. So yeah, Divya.
ShareALittle time, because a lot of youngsters don't have the monetary opportunities to give back, but what they have is time. So the ongoing fundraisers that we have, we can sort of plug manpower help to the NGOs. So people are not just giving through in kind and cash, but also through like their time. That's the other bit. But there's a lot that we have planned, and you will soon know in 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Next time.
all the ideas are exactly tapping on the problems that we are actually facing. So it would be a great boom if we will get all these solutions in one platform.
Yeah, thank you.
So, you guys have started this fundraising platform, of course, for a great cause, but I'm sure there might be a business angle to it. So, would you like to enlighten on the business model of these fundraising platforms so that our audience could understand exactly how these platforms work?
Should I take that? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you will actually be surprised to know, Khushi, that there is no business angle to this. If by business angle you mean profits, we do not intend to make profits from ShareALittle. However, we do intend to make it a self-sustainable platform, where if one is not earning money, one is also not losing money, because we intend to make this if someone's losing money, then it's difficult to pass this on as our legacy, because eventually one has to feed themselves and on their bread and butter. So our model, the model that we work on right now, is that whenever we raise funds for someone, we charge a platform fee. So we determine the goal, and then the amount that we raise, the person who's raising funds eventually gets the funds they need, and we keep 8% is our platform fee. Now, since it's a non-profit, we do not intend to, plus legally also we cannot withdraw money as salary. This money simply goes back into ShareALittle, so you can think of it as working capital to maintain the website, to
Pay
pay
auditors.
our auditors, any employees that we will hire in the future. Also, like, we were also kind of dabbling with the idea of having an emergency fund, through if the scale gets bigger, if there's more platform fee, we can have an emergency fund where if someone reaches out to us, we're able to pay them sooner instead of running an entire campaign. So that is the business angle to it. The business angle is just to make this a self-sustainable platform, that if Divya decides to, or it's something that should be able to exist even without us. That's the business part of it. Later, of course, if we get more like merchandise and other things like that, this is everything's going to contribute to making ShareALittle sustainable on its own.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, okay, that was an eye-opening answer because usually people don't know about how fundraising platforms sustain themselves. Like many platforms even take some amount of money from donators as their, like, if you want to like just give them some money, and I don't know where that money goes. So of course, I mean that's where I see like ShareALittle is doing differently, so people would be able to trust you guys more.
Let me tell you, I can, talk about ShareALittle because it's like our baby, and we are so honest and diligent about our work. We have not monetized this platform. We do not intend to monetize this platform at all. Um, you might know that other platforms are for profit, so they are making profits out of it, and we have no such intention. And that just clean hearts make clean companies. And I've done equity research, and I was told if the founding body is not to be trusted, that stock cannot be trusted. And those are the learnings that I imbibed in both of us, because not only through our education but through our family values and all of those things. So this is just actually a charity that we're running, and if we intend to like do something else for profit, it'll be in a separate company. So this is the only business angle that we can share.
Also, our audience would love to know about the current initiatives on ShareALittle. We all would like to contribute in a little ways.
Okay, I'll take that. We currently have two ongoing fundraisers. One is Karma Animal Foundation. This is the first time that we moved away from empowerment, because so far we had done, education related causes. Like we raise funds for tablets, we raise funds for smartphones, we raise funds for vocational skill training courses for people from vulnerable backgrounds. We also did COVID relief fundraisers, where we are feeding people through uh, food distribution drives in slums, etc., who lost their jobs. So it was mostly to do with people empowering themselves in some way or the other. This is the first time that we've expanded to animal welfare. So we've tied up with Karma Animal Foundation, which is a Gurgaon-based shelter. This woman, again, she has 82 plus dogs at the shelter, very, very passionate about what she does. And the medical costs have actually shot up because all of these dogs are rescued dogs, and they've sort of run into that age where they're having recurring medical problems, and it's a cause of a big worry for the the founders at Karma. So we're raising about 3.5 lakh for that cause. Second one is for another old NGO that we'd already partnered with earlier. It's for Every Infant Matters. Trishla will let you know more about that fundraiser.
So with Every Infant Matters, we're actually launching phase 2 of that fundraiser today. We first launched phase 1. It was the phase 1 lasted for 2 weeks, and in those 2 weeks we were able to raise funds to distribute 150 blankets. As you would know, North India and Northeast India are going through a severe cold wave, and people, the homeless, did not have any access to blankets, sweaters, cardigans, and it's been the cold has been absolutely like brutal, to say the least. So we were able to sponsor 150 blankets through phase 1. Today we're launching our phase 2, probably like minutes after we end this conversation.
No, it's going to be out in Feb, so you can say that we launched it last month.
Okay.
Oh, this is going to come out in Feb. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So now phase 2 ongoing is phase 2 of the blanket distribution drive, where we're again targeting to raise funds to be able to purchase blankets and distribute them across several states in North India and Northeast India. And of course, it goes without saying that when someone donates on ShareALittle, they will be updated with pictures, with videos directly from the people who benefited, the people who've received these blankets, and it's very fulfilling for anybody who wants to donate.
Yeah,
And a
But-
1 minute process. It's a
Yeah.
3-click process.
Awesome. Also, I mean, of course,
Sorry,
co-
Khushi, I'm interrupting you. I just want to add that both of these are also eligible for an income tax exemption. So one can claim the amount that they've donated in their ATG deduction and their income tax return. And like Divya said, it takes a minute and literally 3 clicks to make the donation.
I mean, yeah, it's great. It's great. I mean, as I said, like we have always seen our elders doing their bit, donating, going onto orphanages, donating blankets. Our parents have done this all their life with all what they have like earned a bit. But now youngsters, I mean, it's the hustle culture that's letting the youngsters not to put their foot onto such initiatives. I mean, like for me, like we could all relate to that. I mean, we all are on laptop 9 to 5, and then on our phones, even to chill down. We are using our phones. So it's a great initiative for youngsters like me, like many of people who are like me, to just open their phone and do a 1 minute process and do their.
Yeah.
Lastly, what end message would you like to give to young female entrepreneurs?
I don't feel accomplished enough to give a message or like any piece of advice, but I could say something that comes to me instinctively. First is that there's no female or male entrepreneur. You're just an entrepreneur. Especially in today's day and age, it doesn't matter what. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter what gender you are. I think too, there's no one thing that I've learned, or at least I feel I've learned. It's only time that's going to tell me how sound that is. But there's no rule book to success. You can read 1,000 success stories, but there's so many failures that lead to that success. So it's important to understand the importance of failures, of setbacks, and understand that there's nothing like being successful overnight. It's about being consistent over months, days, weeks, years, and just being patient, being passionate, and just being self-motivated when you're feeling like you're not enough. I think, and just following and making your own path. Like you can read about several people, you can get advice from several people, but eventually it's you who has to run their business. It's your baby, so you decide what you've got to do. You can listen to everyone, but do what you feels right. And yeah, I hope this is what I'm following. So I hope 5 years later I can tell you that it worked for me. So
Yeah, would you like to add something on that, Divya?
I would like to tell everyone what I heard when I it was a very difficult decision to leave my job and start a charity in a pandemic, and easier said than done. It's hard. So what kept me going was, the only advice I would give people is just get started. You'll figure it out. Like, we did not sit on this idea for years. We didn't like read up for years. We did not have a plan. We just started doing it, and when you have the right intent, things just fall into place. So I would say, if you're unhappy or if you have aspirations for something, don't wait for the right time. There is no right time as today. So you will figure it out, and I'm telling you that with experience. I did not read books on entrepreneurship. It's just something you're born with. I just think that, coming from a business family, I always knew that for me, a job was not sustainable. And I just did not know it would be this soon that I would, become an entrepreneur. But just get started. there's, the earlier the better. What do you have to lose?
Mhm.
So we'll figure it out.
Yeah, it was an empowering wrap to this podcast episode. Both of your message, I'm sure, will not only empower a certain kind of entrepreneur, that is female, but it would be a message that would go around all the young entrepreneurs who are figuring out everything on their own.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Khushi. And you're doing great. I wish you my very, very best with your initiative.
Thank you so much. I will just stop the record button.